and reveals his side of the Cornhusker controversy on the record.
Well, Christie is the new governor of New Jersey, and he was really not supposed to get elected last year, according to all the estimates. The state has about 750,000 more Democrats than Republicans, and had not elected a Republican statewide in 12 years at the time. As you may remember, President Obama swept in to help Governor John Corzine at the time to firm up his position, but Christie won decisively on a promise to shake up the Garden State, and boy, is he doing just that, folks. New Jersey is battling a $2 billion budget deficit in 2010, and that's really nothing compared to the projected $11 billion budget deficit that they're going to try to deal with for 2011. And then there's Snooki from the reality show Jersey Shore, who came up in an article about Christie in today's Wall Street Journal. And here's the quote from that. If you think Snooki getting socked in the kisser during an episode of Jersey Shore epitomizes life in the Garden State, well, then you haven't been paying attention, because the best reality show on TV is not running on MTV. It's actually happening in Trenton, where Governor Christie is giving voters a dose of Reagan realism, Republicanism, I should say, with a Jersey twist. So Republican Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey joins me now. Good to have you here, Governor.
Well, thanks to be. Nice to be
Welcome.
Here.
So how do you like being compared to Snooki and Ronald Reagan in one sentence?
You know, I think only in New Jersey. Only in New Jersey can you get Snooki and Ronald Reagan in the same sentence. It's Reagan. It's Reaganism with a little bit of a Jersey edge.
Now, I've lived in New Jersey most of my life, and I have never seen people so divided about what's going on there right now. I mean, there are people who think that you're about the worst thing to come along, and there are people who think you're about the best thing to come along, and you're cutting $820 million in state aid. And the place where I see it getting the most attention right now is in the schools. I mean, that's where the heat of this discussion is right now. Talk to me a little bit. You know, you seriously ticked off the teachers union, and we're going to show a quote from them in just a moment. You know, what is your response to them when they say, look, you're cutting lunch aids, you're cutting art teachers, all kinds of language programs?
Well, my response to them is that none of that would have to be done if the teachers union in New Jersey would be willing to take a one-year pay freeze for this year and pay 1.5% of their salary for the full-time medical benefits that they get, medical, dental, and vision. That would save $800 million and wipe out all but 20 million of our, and there would be no layoffs, there would be no program cuts. And all this stuff is about the union's greed rather than putting the kids first.
All right, let's pull up the full screen that I just mentioned. This was in a memo from the Bergen County Teachers Union, and they said it was never supposed to get out. It was just supposed to be an in-house little joke. But here's what they wrote. This is the Teachers Union in New Jersey. Dear Lord, this year you've taken away my favorite actor, Patrick Swayze, my favorite actress, Farrah Fawcett, my favorite singer, Michael Jackson, and my favorite salesman, Billy Mays. I just want you to know that that Chris Christie is my favorite governor. Nice stuff, huh?
Well, yeah, listen, this now goes beyond the pale. I mean, when you're sending out, and that's the leader of the Bergen County Teachers Union, sending it out to the leaders of all the locals, praying for my death. Now, I had the head of the state teachers union in yesterday. She wanted to apologize for this, and I said, then fire this guy. Now, if a member of my staff, Martha, had sent out an email like that about her, they would have been demanding his resignation. But you know what? They wouldn't have had to wait. I would have already fired him.
What did she say when you said to fire him?
No. And she left my office in a huff.
All right. Well, you know, let's talk about how this all boils down. I was talking actually to my son, who's 11 years old, about this last night, because all the kids at school want to know, you know, why are we getting our language program cut? How come the librarian's only going to be there 4 days a week next year? And I said, you know, because there was so much money that was spent. Now they're trying to find ways to get that money back. He said, where did all the money go, Mom? And I said, let me ask the governor. Well, where did it all go? We pay the highest taxes in the nation. Why isn't there enough money to run our schools?
Well, because you have the teachers union demanding 4% and 5% increases every year when inflation is at 1%. You have most of them paying nothing towards their health benefits when health benefits, full family medical, dental, and vision. Teachers get that from the day they're hired until the day they die. And most of them at no cost.
I mean, just to reiterate that. So the teachers, and there are some teachers in New Jersey who do pay a small percentage into their health care, correct?
Yes, but the majority do not.
Okay, but the majority pay nothing.
Yes.
Zero. And you're saying if they pay 1.5% of their salary into their health care, that would mean there would be no layoffs in the state?
Right. Take a pay freeze and 1.5% of their salary. That would create $800 million in savings. And that means there would be no layoffs and no program cuts in the schools. And they refuse to do it. Only 11 locals have agreed to the pay freeze because the union's saying no.
Is this the union bosses who are saying no? I mean, if I asked individual teachers in my school, would you be willing to pay? And you said it's about an average of $750 per person, right? If these teachers said, I'm going to give back $750, I'm not going to take any pay raise this year, you're saying there would be no cuts.
Right.
the teachers feel that way, or is this a union head decision?
This is a union problem. This is a union boss problem, Martha. Clear and simple. And here's the proof of it. If they're so concerned about the $750 a year the teachers would have to pay, you know their dues that they make every teacher pay are $730 a year.
About the same amount.
Just about the same amount. It raises $130 million a year for the teachers union. How about they just try to get by on the $130 million they got last year, waive the dues for this year, and then their teachers would be held harmless.
What would you do if they walked in and said, you know what, we're going to call your bluff. We're all going to walk out. We're going to strike.
No, they're not allowed to strike. It's against the law. And if they did strike, you know, that would be a big problem because they're not allowed to do it. It's against the law. And I don't think they're going to take that step because at the end of the day, they don't want to lose their jobs.
Yeah. All right, so that's the challenge that you're putting to the teachers. Take, pay 1.5% into your health care program. And just to also reiterate, they get all their health care paid for, dental, vision, everything, from the day they start until the day they die.
Correct.
And so New Jersey taxpayers are paying for all that.
This year, Martha, $823 million just in retiree teacher health benefits.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the larger state issues, because a lot of states are dealing with these kind of things across the nation. In my town, there's stores closing, restaurants closing, places boarded up. It's very depressing, frankly, to walk around the state and see all of these things closing up. What are you going to do about that?
Well, what we're going to do is, this is the first step. We're shrinking the size of government, so then we can lower taxes on people and help to spur growth in the state. We also have to lower regulation. And next Monday, we're coming out with the Lieutenant Governor's red tape review. 800 new regulations that we froze on the day we came in, and she's going to come to me and report about which of those we can eliminate, and then she's going to help tackle the next 25,000 pages of regulation that are unnecessary, many of them, and cost tens of millions of dollars to businesses and drive businesses out of the state. In the last 4 years, New Jersey has lost $70 billion in wealth of people leaving the state to go to other states.
Because taxes are too high.
Absolutely.
And the teachers' unions, and I want to point out, this is the heads of the unions, they're saying, just tax the rich people another 1%, right? And that's going to solve the problem. Why don't you want to do that?
Sure.
The president wants to do that.
They want to tax them another 1.75% to take it up to 10.75%. But let me tell you what it is. Of the 63,000 filers who have incomes over 400,000, half of those, over 30,000, are small businesses. They're small businesses. These are the people that are boarding up their places in your town, and they're laying people off.
They're already getting taxed out of business, basically.
Exactly right, and they want to raise taxes even more. This is the Democratic solution to every problem. Just raise one more tax one time, we promise. No, we're not going to do it.
How many increases in taxes has New Jersey had over the past, whatever, time period, 15 years, you want to say?
How about the last 8 years, 115 increases in taxes and fees?
All right, when we come back, I'm going to share another number with you. And this is that if you're a state retiree, and this was probably happening in your state too, 49 years old, okay, state retiree, and you've paid about $124,000 into the pension plan. Guess how much that's